Alrighty, interview with Stu Ross, June 6, 2011, here in Tombstone, Arizona. And he's going to give me the history of how Grandma ended up in Tombstone.
You got to ask me specific questions.
Well, okay. How did she end up in Tombstone? She was taking care of somebody in Kego?
In Pontiac.
In Pontiac. And then his health got bad or something? And he needed to come to Arizona or to a drier climate.
Retired fireman.
Okay. What was his name?
Clarence Crum.
Clarence Crum. And how old were you back then?
When we moved out here, I was 9 years old.
You was 9. So what year would that have
46.
been? In 1946.
Yeah.
So Grandma was looking for a place.
Well, I was actually 8 when February 46, I was still 8.
So it was in February 46. And how did she end up picking Tombstone specifically?
Just came here to see the historic town, liked it, and they checked with the real estate people that were here in town, found out how rent was so cheap and everything, and they decided to be here because of the high altitude and the low humidity was good for his arthritis. So
did you guys rent a house first?
Yeah. Actually, it was a trailer.
You rented a trailer. Where was that at?
Across from the OK Corral on Tough Nut.
On Tough Nut.
Yeah, you know where that parking lot is? Across by the general store. Between the white building that used to be the hospital building, and then behind there was a trailer court. It had old trailers in it. So
you guys moved in. So now, what kids were with Grandma at the time?
When we come out, there was me, Sharon, and Bob.
You, Sharon, and Bob. So Uncle Norman was already in Kansas City or in Kansas?
He was in the Air Force.
Or he was in the Air Force. And Uncle Chuck was in
Pontiac.
He was in Pontiac at that time? He was pretty young then.
Worked in the cafeteria.
Right, he started out in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
So how much younger are you than Uncle Bob or Uncle Chuck?
About 11 years ago.
Oh, so he was just 18 years old or so then.
Yeah.
So when Grandma came out, he just stayed there. So then after you guys lived in the trailer, where'd you go from there?
Then we decided we wanted to stay, so Mom went back to Pontiac and sold an apartment house.
Which apartment house did she own?
172 West Pike.
Oh, she owned 172 West Pike? See, I didn't know that.
Apartment house.
Yeah, I remember that house.
Down there across from that Lutheran church.
Yeah, I didn't know she owned that. So she sold that and come back out here.
Yeah.
So then, from the trailer, where'd you guys go from the trailer?
Then we lived up on top of the hill there where the water tank is.
In Tombstone.
In a little house.
Rented that house. And that was with, what was that guy's name?
Clarence Crum.
So Clarence Crum. She was taking care of Clarence Crum.
Yeah.
And then, how'd you end up with the Tough Nut Street house? 102 Tough Nut.
Well, then while we were up there, then this guy come to town, Rupert Sherburne, the ex-POW from the Philippines. And he was real sick and couldn't take care of himself. And he was looking for a place to live and somebody to take care of him. And somehow, by luck, I guess, Mom met him. And she said, well, heck, I'll take care of you. You know, you want to light us a place to live. And so he said, okay. So he bought 102 Tough Nut. Yeah. And now she was still taking care of Crum. So when you guys got the Tough Nut Street, he built the old laundry house for who? Now who lived in the laundry house? Nobody. He did.
Who?
Jim Sherburne.
Okay, sure. Jim Sherburne moved into the laundry house. And where did Crum live?
In the kitchen.
And he slept on the bed in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. On the kitchen table was.
Right by the window there, right?
I had the middle bedroom where I had my train set up.
Right.
And Sharon and Ma had the front bedroom.
Okay. And where did Uncle Bob stay?
Uncle Bob, when we first come out, we couldn't even rent a place, you know, because of the 3 kids. Couldn't do it, so she put him on the bus and sent him back to Chuck's.
Oh, so Uncle Bob lived with Uncle Chuck?
Yeah. So as soon as we got here, then she took him to Benson, put him on the bus. sent him back to Pontiac.
Oh, okay.
And then when he got back there, he was 16.
16, okay.
Or 15, or let's see, he was 4 years old, almost 5 years. So he was about 15.
Well, if you were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, he'd have been 13 years old.
Well, he just turned 14.
Did he? When she sent him back to live with Uncle Chuck?
And then he stayed there for about a year. He turned 15, lied his age, and went in the Army.
Oh, and he lied about his age and went in the Army. Okay. So then, when he bought 102 Tough Nut Street, the Buffalo Soldiers Barracks had already been moved there.
Yeah, it had just been moved.
It had just been moved there before he bought the house.
Yeah, it was just open shed.
Right, it was
end to end.
End to end. So you guys closed that in.
Barracks. Yeah, that's the way barracks were.
Right. And then you enclosed and made the back apartment.
Yeah.
They made the back apartment. You helped build the old wash house, the washing machine house.
I didn't help. I dug the cesspool for it.
But that
with a pick and a shovel back there in the backyard.
Right.
Let me tell you, that ground was hard.
Right, but in a couple of the Tombstone history books, or no, not the Tombstone history book, but the lady that sells those books, saying that was a horse stable back from the 1800s.
No.
Yeah, that was all built when.
Bullshit.
Right, when Jim bought the place, he built that place.
Yeah.
Okay, and he slept in that. And then you and Joe John helped build the garage out back.
Well, no, Sharon and Jesse.
They built the garage?
Well, no, Jim built the garage.
Oh, Jim had the garage built.
But
okay.
Sharon and Jesse and a friend, Harrison, I can't remember his name, Harrison somebody. They poured the cement floor and everything on.
For the garage itself.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Aunt Sharon and Uncle Jesse moved.
That's on Sharon's home videos.
Oh, has she got a video of that?
Yeah.
So Jim bought the Tough Nut Street house, built the laundry room, and he lived in the laundry room.
And then he
and Crum lived on the cot in the kitchen.
Yeah.
With a dinette table. So was the little house in the backyard at the time?
Yeah, that was there.
So they used rented that out for income.
We were getting like $12 a month for that.
$12 a month.
That was high rent back then.
What was his name? There was a guy who lived there for years and years. Bud.
Oh, Bud Dingley.
Bud Dingley, yeah.
I think
he lives
still
there.
In town.
He's still alive?
Running around in a wheelchair.
Wow. And then you guys fixed up the end of the barracks, and Aunt Sharon and Uncle Jesse lived in that for a while. So that
Jim did. He moved into there first, when he first built it. So he'd have more room, he'd have a kitchen, right there.
Oh, okay.
And when he died, and Mom rented it out.
So Jim built the wash house and slept in the wash house until he got the barracks apartment done.
Yeah, the back of the...
Right.
And then he used the front as a workshop.
Okay. And then they rented out the wash house after he moved into the barracks?
Yeah, they got like $8 a month for that.
Really?
It was just basically a sleeping room.
Right.
Right. Didn't have no cooking.
So Crum died.
Yeah.
And then when Jim died, Jim gifted the house to Grandma.
Yeah, it was willed to Grandma,
Yeah. So that's how she ended up with 102 Tough Nut. Ain't that something? And that was in 1947? That's how it started?
Yeah, about 47 when we moved in there.
When you moved in at 46? Well, you moved to Tombstone in 47, though, didn't you?
46.
46.
Yeah.
And it was only...
we went back this summer, sold the apartment house, and then come back.
Okay.
And then got a place up there. And I used to walk down the hill and across railroad tracks went through Tombstone.
Right.
Across railroad tracks into the school every day when I was in the 3rd grade. And from then on.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the story with Judge Ross at the courthouse? That was just a coincidence. Well, how did Grandma get the last name of Ross? How did that work out? Because it was Markowitz, and Grandpa changed to Martin.
Yeah.
So how did she get Ross?
She changed it to Ross.
But how? She just picked the name out of a phone book, or what?
No, the gal lived in an upstairs apartment there on Pike.
Right.
And she was a ticket seller at the Orpheum Theater.
The Orpheum?
Orpheum in Pontiac. the Orpheum, and I used to get in there free because she go, you know. And so Mom just liked the name Ross,
so she switched hers to Ross,
yeah.
And Grandpa was Martin. But now, what was the story? Now, Grandpa's was Martin, and something was, our last name is...
But legally, don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. This is on camera, Dad. I'm not telling anybody. This will be on YouTube, but no.
Don't put it on. That's good.
Okay.
Cut that out. But anyhow, back in the days, okay, you know, things were hard, and everybody was in debt. And
right.
I guess Dad was to Mom, and Dad were already separated, divorced. You know, so you know, his creditors couldn't come after him or something. He changed all our names to Martin, legally in the court.
From Markowitz.
From Markowitz to Martin.
Okay. But
he never told Mom.
But he never told Grandma.
He never told Mom.
But now he changed his name to get away from the creditors.
Evidently.
For
whatever reason, I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Now, was it the mob creditors? Don't know.
You don't know. It's Detroit.
This is Detroit. We don't know.
And he worked at the railroad
And he
station.
worked for the railroad. The Wabash Railroad.
The Wabash. He worked for Wabash in Detroit.
Yeah, he was a freight salesman.
Oh, a freight salesman?
Yeah, he'd go out and contract freight, you know, like from Pontiac Motors and stuff.
Right.
Send their cars like freight. Yeah, that's freight salesman.
So that must have paid really good, because I know he had a new Cadillac almost every other year.
During the war. This is back during World War II. You know, anyhow,
right.
He didn't tell Ma that he changed his name to Martin.
And all the kids.
And he didn't tell nobody.
So legally, everybody's last name was Martin.
The document, and I got them. You get them. They're in the safe.
Well, I'd like to have that one, or at least a copy of it. Yeah.
Anyhow, after that happened, I never really checked the dates on them to see what. But anyhow, it was a year or two later. Ma decided she didn't like Markowitz anymore. She's going to change her name to Ross, so she changed our name to Ross.
But did that out here?
No, she did that in Pontiac.
Oh, she did that in Pontiac.
Dad did it in Detroit.
And back then there was no computers.
Yeah. So there wasn't no way for him to check, and as far as Ma knew, her name was still Markowitz.
Right.
So then she goes in and says, well, my name is Markowitz, I want to change it to Ross. And all my kids named Ross, except for Norman. He was already in the service. You know.
Right. So that's why he stayed with the Markowitz, because he was already in the service. And
it cost too much for him to change his name while he was in the service. So Dad didn't change his name to Martin, and Ma didn't change it to Ross. But anyhow, the dates on the thing was like a year or 2 years apart on the thing. So legally, she couldn't change her name from Markowitz to Ross, because our name wasn't Markowitz, it was Martin. But she didn't know it.
So by law, we really should be Martins right now, and not Rosses.
Instead of Rosses.
Yeah, Ross worked out good, though. I like the last name of Ross.
So anyhow, but that's just one of, which, you know, as far as Social Security, you know, it don't make any difference, because you go by your number.
Right.
You've had the same number.
Right. So it's not that important, but and the courts probably wouldn't even care nowadays. I mean, that's something back from back in the day, but
yeah.
That's funny how we're not even legally Rosses, really, by law.
Yeah. Well, Chuck told me that, you know, Chuck didn't know it until Dad died.
Oh, and he found the paperwork from Grandpa Martin.
Change your name. And he said, well, I got to change your name because Grandma did give Chuck a copy, you know, because he was living on his own. The name changed from Markowitz to Ross.
Right.
And he got thinking, well, when did this happen? I didn't know nothing about it. But yet Chuck knew that Dad changed his name to Martin, but he didn't know he had all his kids
changed at the same time.
Until he was going through Dad's paperwork. That's why I say you don't throw nothing out without reading it.
Right.
You know, when you go through this desk.
Right.
And the shit in the safe.
Right.
You don't throw nothing out until you read it. You don't know what it is.
Right.
You know.
Now, do you still have that, all right, they used to have every time the house sold on 102 Tough Nut, the previous owners,
Yeah.
what'd you call that? It was a list.
That's some kind of a title.
Do you still have that?
No, I gave it to the people that bought it from me, and they conveniently lost it.
Oh, so, yeah, because
see, they say that, what's his name had it? It's, not Chef, that's Sheriff.
Not Slaughter.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, whoever the guy's name is, they say he owned it, but he only had that.
One day.
Right, he won the house at a poker game.
No, it was deeded on a quick deed claim.
But how did he get it?
Well, on a quick deed claim, it's like a relative is selling it to a relative for nothing.
Okay.
But you can't do that. So you sell it to a third party for $1. And then he turns around and sells it to the other party for $1 back.
Oh, so he was just...
It's called a quick claim deed, but this takes a day. So the paperwork had to go through where he owned it, Slaughter, yeah, John Slaughter.
John Slaughter, right.
So he owned it for a day or two. It might have been a week. I don't know. And then he quick claimed it to whoever it was.
Oh, I thought he won the house at a poker game or something. Oh, okay.
No, that's all bullshit they put out up there.
Right.
Town, that's tourist shit.
Right.
Right,
and that's what that lady was trying to tell me, and that's why I was asking you about the wash house and
anyhow,
stuff.
When I got ready to sell the place that nobody had known or even thought of, I got ready to sell it, and she said, well, shit, we can't sell it, nobody's going to buy it. And I said, why? She said, because your lease is up in about 5 years.
The 99-year lease?
Yeah, what lease, you know, from the mining company.
Right.
But anyhow, I knew the guy that worked for the company that lived here in town, that the company was in Minnesota. So I went up to him, and he run the paperwork through and signed off the deed, giving me full ownership.
Okay.
And then I was able to sell it.
Right.
Otherwise, out here, when you buy property, you check to see if it's on a lease. You know, because most all this stuff around southern Arizona is on some kind of a mining claim.
Right.
You know,
because if there was a
people are buying this stuff, and then in 5-10 years they're finding out that lease is up, and the company comes in and says, I want the property. Meantime, you build a $500,000 house, and then you're just out.
Right.
So you got to be careful out around here or any place where there's mining going on.
So the only reason why that house is famous at all is because John Slaughter owned it for a week, helping somebody else do a quick claim on it.
It was built in the 1800s.
Right.
You know, back around White Earth State. Yeah, so it is a historical house.
Right.
Per se.
It just wasn't, I mean, it was owned by John Slaughter, but he didn't really live there, own it.
He owned it, but he didn't own it.
Right, he was helping somebody else do a family deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quick claim deed type thing.
Yeah, those old ladies downtown told me that he won it in a poker game. You know?
Ah, shit, my dad owned that for 50 goddamn years. We used to have that, there's a name for that deed. I can't, God, for the life of me, I can't.
You mean your mom owned it for 50 years, right? You said Dad.
Well,
right.
Same difference, but can't remember what they call that deed. Makes me mad, you know. It's hell to get old and lose your mind.
Yeah. Well, I know. That's why I'm recording this.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's how all that shit comes to happen.
No.
Abstract deed.
Abstract, right. And now, back to the earlier conversation, you met Mom. She was 17 years old. You was in the service. Stationed where? You stationed where?
Moffett Field.
Moffett Field.
Up by Mountain View.
That's where Mountain View come in. Okay.
Mountain View and Paul also.
Right.
Her mother lived in Paul also.
Mother lived in Palo Alto with her mother.
And, yeah, and she lived with her. Your mother lived with a girlfriend there in Mountain View, I guess.
When she was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know she got pregnant and had Bonnie when she was 16, and she gave the baby to Grandma.
29, 87. Yeah, she was 17. I don't know, what month was she born?
June.
July.
June 30th, July 30th.
She must have just turned 18 then, when we got married. That's probably how that worked. Because I remember we got married that, and then we come home.
So you got out of the service, and you lived around Modesto and whatnot for a while first?
No. I was stationed in San Diego when I got out of the Navy. We were down there in San Diego.
Okay.
And lived there. Remember you got pictures of there in that avocado grove?
Right.
You eating that?
But I don't know where all this was at, yeah.
And that was in Chula Vista.
Chula Vista?
Yeah, or Vista, just plain Vista. Was that where the avocado grove was?
Vista, California? Okay.
Yeah.
So then after Vista, California, when did you get out of the service? What year was that?
June of 64.
June of 64. So you lived in Arizona or California till 64.
Yeah, till I got out of the Navy.
So I spent my first 3 years of life was all in California.
Yeah, till June of 64. And then we got out.
Well, wait. So where all did you live in those 3 years? Where all did you live in California? What cities? Because you moved a couple
times.
You
were born. Okay.
Because I was born at the Stanford University Hospital.
Yeah.
In Palo Alto.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was stationed at Moffett then.
Okay.
Okay, and the ship left, and they left me behind because Gene was going to have you.
Okay.
So I stayed until you were born, and I went and caught up with the ship in Yokosuka, Japan.
Okay.
And in the meantime, she came down to Huachuca City over behind her and lived with Aunt Sharon.
Oh, she left California and came to Huachuca City. Okay.
With Aunt Sharon.
Okay.
While I was on the cruise.
All right.
While I was gone on the cruise. Well, when I come back from the cruise, the ship come in at San Diego, and we were billeted at Escondido, at Miramar, outside of Escondido. So then that's where we lived. First was Escondido. When I got back from overseas, and
right.
I guess I don't know how long we were there, a year or two. And then I went to North Island, got transferred to North Island.
Which is where?
San Diego.
Okay, North Island, San Diego.
Yeah.
And then you moved to?
We lived in, yeah. God, I can't think of the name of that town there in San Diego. Anyhow, we lived down there.
And then from there you moved to Vista?
Wow. And then it was up to oh, no, that was while I was at Miramar. We lived in Vista and that. And then we went to San Diego. God, I can't remember the name of that town. It's right there, getting onto the Strand to go to North Island. Started with an E. Anyhow, we lived there.
Escondido?
No. Anyhow, then after we were there for a while, then I was able to get government housing, which was almost downtown San Diego, up on the hill.
Okay.
Got up there, and we lived up there till I got out of the Navy.
Why did you get out?
Because your mother wouldn't let me re-enlist.
Oh.
She was all done with that Navy wife
Back
crap.
then, yeah, see, because I'd be gone, 9, 10 months out of every year. She was always home alone, after that.
Right.
And
so when you got out of there, you decided to come back to Michigan because that's where all your family was at, right?
So I went
except for Grandma.
I was wrong. Yeah, I did go back there and got a job there. Okay, I remember now. Got a job there, Pontiac Motor on the line.
And you lived where?
For about 3 months there.
Where'd we live when you did that?
In Chuck's old house.
On Seward Street.
Yeah, on Seward.
So we moved to the Seward Street house, right? And you
and
worked.
What year was that?
64.
Oh, 64 is when you got out.
Yeah. And then when they shut down for changeover, I was out of work. That's right, I was out of work. So Bob said, well, why don't you move back out here? Because he moved back to the valley out in California there, someplace. So we moved out there and we got a place to stay. And I worked at some gas station off the beaten track and for a while. And I said, nah, this ain't. So we moved back to Pontiac. And I guess that's when I got the job with Consumers Power.
And that's when we moved on 4th Street.
Yeah.
Because Karen was born, we lived on the 4th Street house. I remember that house.
No, when Karen was born, we lived on South Francis.
Oh, really?
A couple streets up from Chuck and over in an upstairs apartment.
Oh, I didn't know that. When Karen was born, we lived on South Francis.
Sharon and Jesse was living in Kegel. And then we got out of that place and went out there to 4th Street.
Okay.
Over there by the shop, by GM shop.
Right.
Or whatever.
Over off of Joslin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the house is still there. I've gone by the house a couple times.
And then that's where we got the divorce.
Right. Yeah, because I remember the cops coming out and arresting Mom because she hit that cop in the belly.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to hit you, she hit the cop in the belly instead.
Mm-hmm.
And they took her to jail. And in the kitchen, there was a little bar between the kitchen and the. I was sitting at the counter.
Yeah.
And we had a metal cup, and I asked your dad, "Has Ma got a metal cup in jail?" Yeah, I remember. I don't remember that. I remember that clearly. I can remember that happening. Yeah.
I mean, when that happened, there's so much going through my mind.
Right.
It's all vague. You know?
Right. Yeah, it's all bad stuff, but I remember it. So.
That was basically the end of it, and then I worked until September of '69 there for Consumers Power, and
then you moved out.
I moved back out here with Grandma.
Stayed with Grandma from September of '69 on, right? Well, Grandma needed a little bit of the help back then too. By then, didn't she? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But,
yeah, I had plenty of work to do around there.
Yeah.
Because she never had anybody to take care of it.
How old are you now?
73.
73, and you're the last of all your siblings left.
I'll be 74 in 3 months.
In 3 months, you'll be 74. Yeah. Now, who was the oldest? Norm was the oldest.
Norm was the oldest.
And he died from cancer.
Mm-hmm. Then Shirley.
Shirley, she died in a car accident. That's George Mitchell's daughter.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, mother. Right, she died in a car. And how old were the kids then?
Oh, they were 1, 2, and 3, I guess.
Right.
Something like that.
And Grant, what?
That seemed like that was around 1952 that happened.
And what was the reason Grandma wanted to adopt him? Was there a reason why she couldn't or something? What happened there?
No, she couldn't adopt him.
I don't remember what was the story. How come they had to be adopted out the way they did instead of Grandma trying to?
Well, Grandma couldn't take care of him. She couldn't bring him out here. We didn't have room for him, you know.
Well, where was Aunt Shirley at when she had she was killed by a drunk driver, right?
Yeah, out there.
Where was she at?
She was on Orchard Lake Road.
Oh, that happened in Kegel.
Going between West Bloomfield Township and Bloomfield Township over to Telegraph from out there in Kegel, going on Orchard Lake Road.
Right. Okay, that's where she was killed at.
Yeah.
So when she was killed, the kids get put into a state agency right then, or what happened?
Yeah.
Was she divorced?
Yeah.
Okay, she was divorced.
She just got a divorce.
She had just gotten a divorce.
And her and her girlfriends were out celebrating.
Oh, celebrating the divorce.
Yeah, but it wasn't their fault. They didn't. The cops were chasing somebody from Ted's Cafe on Telegraph that got out without paying a bill. The cops were chasing them, and they come up over a hill, and the guy the cops were chasing was on the wrong side of the road, and they picked him up.
So the cop car hit him, or the guy?
The car that...
So Aunt Shirley's life ended over someone not paying their food bill.
Yeah.
Ain't that some crap?
Yeah. I mean, they weren't drunk on them. They were just out celebrating their divorce.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Wow. And then Grandma there was no way she could take on 3 kids?
Way she could take them on and bring them out here.
So they had to go right into
She tried to get them all in one home, but nobody was adopting 3 kids at once.
Right, yeah.
You know, so, and then she had to fight like crazy to, you know, because Grandma knew a lot of people. You know, Detroit, back in them days, wasn't so big.
Right.
I mean, it's like you almost knew everybody. So she knew a good friend of hers was part of the adoption agency, so she made sure Grandma knew where the kids went.
Okay.
And that's how Grandma could keep in touch with her, and through her, she would check on the kids through the adoption agency and get back to Grandma and let her know.
Uncle Chuck, I wanted to get back to that. Uncle Chuck, who, after Norm died, who was the second oldest? That was Shirley.
Here's the mailbox key.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, that could have waited till this interview was over with.
No, I couldn't, because
you would forget, right? Is that Aunt Shirley there?
Markowitz, 172 West Pike Street, age 16. That's my sister Shirley. You can have that.
Yeah, I've seen this photo. This ain't going to come in very good on this, but
you can have it.
I will. Yeah, I've seen this online before.
That was just before she got married to George.
George Herman. That was his name. Harmon.
Harmon.
Huh. Yeah. Now, she died from a car accident. So then that left Uncle Bob, Uncle Chuck, you, and
Sharon.
And Aunt Sharon. So who passed away next? Uncle Bob?
Keep that.
Uncle Bob was the next one?
Yeah, after Norman.
Yeah, he died.
Norman was 57 when he died.
Of cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
Bob was 67.
And he died of cancer as well?
Well, I think it was from a staph infection that he got in the hospital. Because he was always in and out with his leg, because his leg was almost shot off in Korea.
I thought he died because of his heart.
Well, yeah, it could have too, the heart. But the staph infection caused a lot, you know, to, yeah.
Contribute to his death. Right. And he was 67.
67. And then Chuck died, he was 71.
He was 71.
Yeah, and that was a few years ago.
Right. And
now
then
I'm 73, going to be 74.
Right. So you ended up...
And then Sharon died here.
Right, she just passed away
69.
at 69.
Okay,
so you were the last sibling, and you made it the longest. And all the drinking and smoking...
Of the siblings, outside of Bob, he drank.
Right, but I mean...
He got into AA.
Right, but all the drinking you've done all your life, and all the smoking of the non-filtered cigarettes, and you've made it the longest from all of them.
That's why I say that's all bullshit. Either you're going to